Okay, we are doing some systems of linear inequalities, and these are word problems, so these can be a little tricky, but they're complicated, but not really too crazy. So we're going to read through this problem, and we're going to go through all the steps, and then there's a question at the bottom here that asks us about our answers. So we have a system that requires a theoretical maximum heart rate of a person, which is 220 minus x beats per minute, where the x is the age of the person in years, and those years range anywhere from 20 to 65 years of age. When a person exercises, it's recommended that they strive for a heart rate that's at least 70% of the maximum, and at most it's 85% of the maximum. So Tom is making a poster for health class to represent the information described above. He decides that he wants to present the information on a graph. So Tom comes to me for help. So we're looking for help to give him so that we can kind of give him a range of areas of which this would work for him. So we have two different things. We have the x, which we can see the x is the years that we have of this person. So what I'm going to do is at the bottom here, I'm going to write down age, and this is going to be in years, and then our heart rate, which is going to be that 220 minus the age, and that's going to be our x, or our y-axis. So BPM, beats per minute. And we have a blank graph here, so we are going to have to look at this a way that we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start off looking at this graph. I do have to go anywhere from 20 years of age to 65, so I don't really need to go much higher than that. And if I went by fives, that wouldn't be enough. So really what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start this off by going with 10. We'll do 15. This is going to be 20. And the reason why I'm doing fives here is because we do have 65 in there. Now you're going to notice that I put a little squiggly mark there. That just means that I'm cutting off the graph. So it's not exactly accurate because I'm going by fives here, but right here I didn't go by fives. So I'm just going to make sure that I do that so that I know that I'm starting at a different number. This is 25, this is 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, and then this would be 65 right here. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and look at the heart rate. So again, looking at the heart rate, if I'm looking at these lines, I don't have quite enough. I'm going to do another one of these little kind of squiggly marks, indicating that I am going to start at a different number. This one I'm going to start at 100, and I'm going to skip and I'm going to do by tens. So this would be 110. We'll do 120 here, 130, 140 here, 150, 160. We'll have 180 here, and then we'll have 200 here. All right, so we've got the whole setup here, but now we've got to get into the whole, how do I graph this? So we're going to start with the x-axis. We have two different pieces of information here. It's an inequality statement. So we know that the minimum value of the person's age has to be at least 20 years, but it's not going to go over 65. So when I'm writing the inequalities, I have an x value that can be 20, or it's going to be greater than that. And then we have another one, which is going to be also equal to 65, or it's going to be less than. So I'm going to do this in this first video. I'll do another video with a part 2 so you can see what happens with the y values. But when we look at the x values, these are going to be vertical lines because we're cutting it off at 20 years of age. So if I'm 20 years old, I might have a heart rate of something anywhere on this area, hopefully. And I'm going to do the same thing with 65, which is at the very end of this. So we are going to have two straight vertical lines that are going to go on the lines that they are at. And I'm going to do the best I can to do a straight line. So there's our 65 age group. And then this is the 20 age group. So we'll put a line here. And then if we're looking at the inequality statements, the inequality statement says that my x values can be greater than 20. So 20 could be anywhere in this shaded area because these are greater than 20. I'm not going to do that really heavily because I'm going to show you why in a minute. This is going to get complicated with all these different shadings. So this is one shading of greater than 20 for the x coordinates. And then our x coordinates can also be equal to 65. This is why these are solid lines, but anything less than 65 would be anywhere over here. So it would actually go past this, but we're gonna want a double shaded area. So this would have actually gone past this, but because this is the last number on our graph, we're not going past it. Here, I'd be shading over here as well, but this is the only area so far that we have double shaded, where they're both included. So in my part 2, I'm going to do the y values, and then we'll find out where that shaded value is for all 4 inequalities. And if you want more like this, you can find them on my YouTube channel. You want algebra, check these out under the graphing inequalities, systems of inequalities section.